Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of Framefest. I'm Mikko Pickle, and I'm here with my good friend.
Say stuff. Welcome.
It's good to be here. Last episode was good. It was just a nice, lively talk between you and I. My Hero Academia. I think we talked a bit too much on anime, though. So
Look at you all trying to pretend that we didn't record an extra episode in between and then throw it away because I was so outdated.
What are you talking about?
That never happened.
We didn't pre-record footage regarding the start of E3. No.
He's trying to avoid my eyes.
What?
He's looking away.
Yeah, that's a nice jacket you're wearing, Martin.
I'm not wearing any jackets.
He's got me there. So,
anyways.
E3.
Oh boy.
There's a lot to say here. I mostly am curious as to the things that made you not only excited but also disappointed. I have some ups and downs with this E3, but I'm curious as to whether or not you feel the same way.
To be perfectly honest, I wasn't super disappointed. I've been more disappointed in previous E3s.
Okay.
But I think it's because, I think it's relative because I think a lot of people were expecting things that they had no reason to believe. I'm not trying to put those people on blast or anything. I'm just saying that there were a lot of built-up expectations for things that were just rumors, or not even rumors, just things people wanted. Just because we want something doesn't mean it's going to show up in E3. And in fact, usually what happens is 1 or 2 years after those things do actually show up, because that's the time it takes for our demands to reach completion, basically.
You are not wrong. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me that Final Fantasy VII had no input at all at E3 this year.
Oh no, that's not one thing. I did not expect to see Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
No way.
It's as you say. Our demands usually met way further down the line. But in regards to the disappointment I shared,
especially after what we talked about last episode.
Yeah, that's true. Game delays. That was something.
Yeah.
But in regards to the disappointments I shared, it wasn't for the whole this didn't appear in E3, which was shocking. Just some of the content that was present just didn't seem very
mind blowing.
Yeah, it just there was not many hooks in that.
Yeah.
I need games that provide substance and sustenance and make me want to just chow down.
Yep.
I felt like only a few games did that, which was kind of disappointing. But I won't lie, the games that did, oh boy.
To me,
wow,
that's interesting because to me it was the other way around. Like everyone, like you, I expect to find E3 with games that will blow my mind, or games that are essentially I want them to build my hype. Because it's E3. I mean, come on. But instead of feeling like there wasn't too much to be excited about, but what was there was super exciting, I felt like there was actually nothing that blew my mind, but there was a lot that I was excited about.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Nothing super crazy, but what was there was a lot, so I'm kind of happy with what I got on a personal level.
Sure. I felt that the adrenaline and the excitement that came out of the games I'm talking about really only came out of two things. Yep. But overall, the E3 wasn't bad this year. Wasn't as cringy as last year, but it still had its moments.
Yep.
But no, I definitely think that this year we have some good games and just some games that may be hidden gems that were just, will be washed away because I didn't think twice about them. But overall, I'm still pretty excited.
What bums me out the most, though, is... it doesn't really disappoint me too much because it was expected. It's just that seeing those games on E3 kind of brings it back. Is that certain games, not too many thankfully, certain games I am really looking forward to, and I know I'm not going to be playing them for 1 or 2 years at least. I know we're going to see it on E3 again.
No, that's fair.
I will get to them eventually. Yeah. But what we have here now is a list of all the announcements and trailers from every conference. Not everything is here because there's a metric fuck ton.
Yeah, what to say.
But I thought we could go one by one through the conferences and speak what excites us or what we care about.
Okay.
The first one we have is EA, and EA has Battlefield 5, which they revealed the multiplayer for, FIFA 19, Battlefield 5, again, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Unravel 2, Sea of Solitude, and Anthem. Oh, and Command and Conquer, the new mobile game.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't check out much of the Command and Conquer one, but that's probably because I've always been a Warcraft guy. But I don't think it's a good reason to just disregard it because it's a mobile game.
Yeah, no,
you never
absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. I mean, though, yes, there's been stereotyping around, like, if you play a mobile game, it's not even a real game, or if you play games on mobile, you're not a real gamer or whatever.
And that's probably a result of the kind of controls mobile have, the time it took them to figure out a way that they're comfortable, and the amount of shovelware.
And I also think that gamers themselves are stereotyped by characteristic, and because like mobile games are open to like extroverts, as an example, like...
It's kind of like that bullied nerd thing. Like it took us so many years to get out of the shadows, but now we are super defensive as a result of that.
Yeah. I think people take the idea of gaming way too seriously. Just take a step back for a bit.
Yeah, live and let live, dude.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm interested in Anthem.
Really?
Yeah, mostly because of the controversy behind it. Like, I'm curious as to. So, from what I've heard, the game is relatively visually, it's up to par, but apparently I don't know if they're rumors or whatnot, but loot crates and stuff like that, I've heard there are transactions in the game. It's rumor, of course, so I can't full on go, this
that always happens, but to be perfectly honest,
it's EA.
I think what happens is that I don't remember. Because I didn't watch the conferences, I just watched like... recaps of all of them.
Yeah.
Because there's so much. But I think what happened is that they had announced it was going to have loot boxes a long time ago. And on this E3, they came out and said, no, there's not going to be loot boxes of any kind. Because of the Star Wars fiasco. Yeah,
and I do recall EA putting it out there, saying like there will be no loot boxes, and people were actually like cheering it on because EA's guilty of that. Yeah. I don't like to... I don't like to stick my fingers in EA's ears, but like
I know, but they
cash grabs.
They got the worst company in America prize twice in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you want an example? Freaking, it wasn't showcased in E3 because it's a pretty old game. You have The Sims 4 as an example, right? Your base game is about $45. DLC $35, $20, $15, right? Still pretty pricey for DLC. But then I remember going to the stores a couple of days ago and seeing this bundle pack, right? It had 3 DLCs. It was about $60. No base game.
That's so weird.
Yeah, and let that sink in, because it's like you have to buy the base game for $40. And then you can buy the bundle.
Yeah, that's always been a problem with Sims, huh? Because often you can justify the price of an expansion being almost as big as a game just because expansions tend to be their whole game. And with DLC, that has started to like die down, and it's often like even if it's a large DLC, it's usually just half the price of the game or something like that.
Yeah.
But Sims has always been really, really, really rough when it comes to amount of DLC, pricing of DLCs.
Yeah, and especially because the corporation behind it is not very interactive with its with the people that like want to see things out of the game. They kind of try to act on their own will, and they take some suggestions here and there. But when they take suggestions, never added to the base game. It's purely DLC.
Yeah,
which makes it feel like a cash grab. But
I kind of get why, because often you finish the game before you get feedback, and then you start working on the DLC, and that's how you do it. But it's true that like there's certain things that should be patched in or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or at least don't price. Okay, let me rephrase that. Don't charge that much for every DLC, or make better bundles. Like, it's a finicky issue because it doesn't feel like anything in the issue is too terrible, but it's like death from a thousand cuts.
Yeah,
There's a million little things that pile up.
That's it. Like, if you like have a bunch of small problems and you tend to avoid them, eventually it just starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're confronted with this huge thing that almost becomes impossible to overcome.
I personally, regarding E3, I really, really don't pay too much attention to EA. I mean, I do roughly, but I'm not super concerned with them because I try to avoid them a little bit.
They're
games I like, but I don't like them enough to deal with their crap.
Right.
But I'm probably most excited about Battlefield 5 and maybe Star Wars. Like, to me, Star Wars is a little bit hit and miss. I want EA to be good because they have the Star Wars property amongst other really good ones. But what happens to me with Star Wars is every game that comes out is like a coin flip whether or not I'm interested in.
Right.
Let's move on to Microsoft, because I've heard that Microsoft had one of the best conferences.
Oh, in my opinion, it probably was. Honestly.
Was?
Yeah, in my opinion. And that's saying something because Nintendo did a really good job this year.
Nintendo did a good job. I don't know if it's like the best they've done.
Right.
But Nintendo always does that where they're like always between a 7 and an 8 and they never go for a 10. Like,
you know what? I think I can agree with that. But I mean, then again, I've only ever seen two E3s per year. Like I saw this year's and not last year, the year before that.
A lot of people say that they killed it with the Breath of the Wild conference 2 years ago when it was just Breath of the Wild. But my issue with that claim is that it's only really quote unquote perfect because the game elevates the conference so much. Like, it's still a conference about a single game.
Yeah, that's it.
Sense. And they had some games after in Nintendo Treehouse and stuff, but besides that. Anyways, back to Microsoft. So they announced Halo Infinite, which $5 says it's gonna have a Battle Royale mode.
Oh, the way things are going?
Also, From Software announced Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, which theoretically, like, this is not 100% confirmed, but it's basically the next Souls.
Yep.
So it will be Dark Souls / Demon Souls / Bloodborne number 6. It is very different though. I could speak for an hour, so let's move on.
You know, for sure.
The new Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Very excited.
They showed some gameplay and stuff.
Gorgeous.
They revealed Fallout 76, which is weird and interesting, and I would like us to talk about it when we get to Bethesda for quite a while, or at least leave it for another topic for another episode, because I think it's quite a big deal.
Oh, for sure.
The new Crackdown 3. They announced that Nier Automata is coming to Xbox One.
Yeah,
not a big deal. If you're an Xbox player, good for you. The new Metroid, listen to me. The new Metro. They showed gameplay for a new Metro. Gameplay for new Kingdom Hearts 3, which is finally coming out for the fans.
Yeah.
You should be super happy. Forza Horizon 4, Battlefield 5, that we already spoke about. They also announced that they acquired a lot of studios, and that worries me a little bit, because those studios, they basically bought small and mid-sized video game studios,
right?
And they went like, now we have this, they're gonna make game for us. Yeah, that's never gone well with Microsoft.
Okay.
I mean, Rare went from making some of the best N64 games to making
some of the most
Kinect games.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not saying that every time Microsoft buys a company it's a bad thing. I'm not even trying to trash Microsoft despite the fact that Windows is garbage.
It's just that they've had this repeated pattern that kind of hints off like
when they buy a new
it's not great.
When they buy a new company, I clench.
Yeah, no.
Not to mention that there's always the fact that these companies are no longer free to make whatever they want.
Right,
But that's business. That always happens. The qualified games. If it sounds weird, it's because we're reading off a list. They announced Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. If you already are onto that game, there's not much new for you there. Well, unless you're a super fan and you like the references. New map for PUBG, nothing too crazy. Black Desert Online is coming for Xbox. It's been around. They revealed Jump Force, which should really excite us because we're anime fans, but I don't really give a crap.
Yeah, I'm the same. It didn't do much for me.
Shonen Jump games always have that effect on me because they feel like relatively generic fighters.
Yeah, and it almost feels like every single one of them are almost a copy and paste of the exact same gameplay and platform, just revamped to a different looking anime.
This one's a crossover, by the way.
Yeah.
This one looks a little bit newish, if that makes sense, but it still doesn't still feels like just a random game.
Yeah, I totally understand.
We'll see. I mean, if you're a fan of shonen anime, you're probably gonna love it.
Yeah, you know,
and it's good that it's not just a Japanese game because it's not just a Japan exclusive game because those games tend to stay in Japan and then we get.
But ever since shonen kind of came to around the world, you know, it kind of just took over as a new culture.
Then we have Gears of War 5 got announced. They showed gameplay for Dying Light 2. And they also announced they're working on their new Xbox.
Yeah, so there's one reason why I found Microsoft conference to be the best, and it might just...
Please do not say the new console.
No. God,
okay, cool.
I'm sorry to say I'm PlayStation. PlayStation and PC. But no, it's...
No, I just mean that the fact that they announced a new console to me is neutral. It's like...
Oh, right.
Yeah, sure, okay, I guess. Didn't you just release Scorpio?
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, I don't really care until they announce an exclusive or something.
So I personally found it to be the best for 2 reasons. So first of all, you had the new Ori game. Huge fan of the original. I thought it was absolutely incredible. This looked exceptionally well done. This looks like a refurbished. It looks like they've clearly looked at problems that existed in the first game. There weren't too many, but they're there.
I'm sure they're just gonna carry the feels again.
Oh, for sure. They've set up this really cool premise, this beautiful universe and story. There is no way they're not going to follow through again. But I'm mostly excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, it's had its...
I knew you would.
It's had its trailers a lot recently. We know we've seen footage in the past, yada yada. But it was when we saw a bit more of the universe that's going to be explored in this game that it had me excited. Excited enough to...
It's Pirates of the Caribbean again, right?
There's Pirates of the Caribbean within it, yeah. But there's also the Toy Story. There's also Frozen. Not a fan of Frozen, but I'm just saying it's in there.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but Frozen hasn't been in Kingdom Hearts until now, right?
Yep, that's right.
Well,
and they're including Tangled, which was like a Rapunzel ripoff of some sort. Anyway,
actually, fun fact: Rapunzel. Tangled actually has a lot of importance when it comes to Disney filmography,
right?
Because it's right between that era where they started started finishing moving away from 2D animation, and it's one of the one of the last Disney, quote unquote, classic Disney princess tales.
It also seems to adhere to the visuals of newer contemporary Disney films. I mean, Frozen and Tangled look so similar in character; it's insane. So I think they've also used that as an adaptation to say, this is our art style. This is what it is.
Yeah, it's because it's made by because I don't remember now the name. I think it's 5 Colors.
Right.
They are both made by CGI studio. Think in the lines of Pixar.
Okay, yeah.
Owned by Disney.
Right. That's interesting.
Disney has
a bunch
Pixar.
of yep.
And this studio, which makes all the most of the big Disney movies that you think of that are on 3D that are on Pixar. Mm-hmm. So, for example, Frozen again. And then they have, I think, a third studio, but I don't quite remember. They also have a bunch of other smaller things. But for the main 3 movie things.
Okay, that's interesting. In regards to Kingdom Hearts 3, I think one of the biggest reasons why I'm uber excited is because, first things first, after watching the trailer, I will admit to it, you saw a tweet about it, I spent almost $100 on merchandise relevant to Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, I think you only put Final Fantasy in the tweet.
I must have forgotten to mention I spent $60 on a life-sized Keyblade. That's a thing.
I'll be honest with you.
I can feel your prying eyes.
Actually, no. This is Aussie dollars, right?
Yeah.
That's nothing. You spend nothing, believe me.
I hope so.
Nothing. I've gone to conventions with friends that have come back home with several figurines on roughly the $200 range each.
I can't justify it unless it's for Made in Abyss merch. By all means, I'll spend that much.
Well, unlike me, they had actually well-paying jobs.
Oh, Martin, I'm sorry.
I had the freedom of going whatever I want, whenever I want.
Yeah, fair enough.
But we actually had that this ritual of saving money before we went to conventions.
Right.
Before it got old.
Fair enough.
And I was like, meh.
But yeah, the biggest reason why I'm excited though is simply because the story of Kingdom Hearts has always been mega convoluted, and I feel like from the trailer we were given, there's going to be some clarity and some actual, some actual clarity. Like we had a long pause between Aqua trying to find Terra and then completely dispersing from the universe, and now she's finally back. We saw a brief of her in 2.8, but it was nowhere near enough. It was kind of like a hit. It's like a hit and a miss. And I just think Kingdom Hearts 3 is not only nostalgic, but I feel like it's actually a grand introduction as to what the PS4 can do. The visuals are insane.
Not to mention that well, we'll see what happens with PS4 Pro and whether there's going to be a PS5 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've not announced anything regarding that in the E3, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think that Kingdom Hearts 3 is also a very long time coming. Like people have been wanting it for like a full generation or more. Hopefully we will get it before the Xbox 2 or whatever they decide to name it.
Yeah, yep.
Because I would hate to be... I mean, I don't play Kingdom Hearts. I'd be interested, but I never played it. But I would hate for a lot of people to be in a situation where you have a PS4 and you have to buy a PS4 Pro just to play that and still not have it be like the proper visual fidelity that it's meant to be.
Yeah, see, I've learned my lesson after Crash Insane Trilogy. I mean, I'm happy I bought a PS4 in the end, but still, to buy it for a game is never worth it.
Oh no, to me it's exactly the opposite. It's
really?
It's super difficult, it's super annoying and terrible that you have to upgrade an entire console just for a game.
Right.
But I've always said that I don't have a PS4, I have a Bloodborne machine.
Fair enough. You know what?
To me, yeah, and
if you love Bloodborne that much, by all means.
I bought the Switch on launch exclusively because I wanted to play Breath of the Wild on the go instead of on my Wii U.
Fair enough.
I don't regret it. Like, to me, essentially, and maybe it's because I need something that pushes me over the edge, but whenever I buy a new console, it's often because there's a game that I know I'm going to spend, say, 100 hours on.
Ah, okay. No, that's interesting, because I remember we didn't post the episode naturally, but like in our E3 beforehand, we talked about...
Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but someone's getting really mad at their dog.
Because I don't know if we talked about it beforehand. I think it was in our last episode. I was talking about the Switch and how I was making purchase of mine, and how it took me way too long to think to myself, when do I buy it? And then when Pokemon Let's Go Eve and Peach comes out, I'm like, this is the sign. Like, I need it now. I wanted it beforehand because of Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, the new Kirby game. Jeez, Star.
And now we're getting Pokemon November and Smash on December.
Oh, Smash.
We'll get there.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But yeah, like it was that driving force makes you go, okay, this is it. I can't justify one game being enough to make me buy a console again, but I understand from your perspective, like, how much a game can mean and make you want to.
Trust me, if you buy Breath of the Wild, the new Pokemon, and Smash, you're gonna spend at least 400 hours with your Switch.
Oh yeah,
especially if you bring it to you and yours or something like that.
For sure.
To me, I think it's a no-brainer. The most exciting thing for me in the Microsoft conference was Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Because, I mean, actually, my reception of it was a little bit lukewarm.
Okay.
Because the trailers were such that I felt... It's hard to explain. It felt to me more like a regular game instead of a FromSoft game.
Right.
It felt like something that, say, Naughty Dog will do. Something that is more scripted and story-based and something
I can totally see that.
And I think a lot of that is the grappling hook. Because if you don't know, in this game, you're in a sort of countryside Japan.
Yeah.
It's still apparently, supposedly, a Souls games. And you have like a mechanical arm that you use to hook shot to places. And it looks really, 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 really good. I don't know if it looks like a good Souls, but after doing a little bit of catharsis on it, I'm really excited about it.
Right.
At the very least, I'm very excited about playing it. I didn't play Neo for a bunch of reasons, but I feel like this one would be, and I think it's a little bit of that too, because a little bit of the reason I didn't play Neo is because the aesthetics didn't speak to me as much.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that I like them, I don't know why. It's two things that I like that seem to not work together for me.
That's interesting. You made your point pretty clear. In honesty, like I want to applaud you for that. You were worried that you couldn't explain it, but mate, no, that was really good. Yeah, for me personally, the game does. I can agree. I think the game visually looks really nice. I'm not too sure about how I feel about it as of right now, solely because I'm not the sort of person who thoroughly enjoys those sort of games, simply because of the rage that comes out of them. But like, I still think it's a game that I'm going to give a shot.
I mean, you did play through Getting Over It.
I haven't finished it. I haven't won it.
Fair enough. I won't touch that topic
Let's
anymore.
not talk about that. Okay.
The last thing I want to say about Sekiro is, why no Switch version?
That's a good point. I mean, it's so good to have on the go.
I can think why of reasons why they wouldn't want to do it, but pretty please, even if it looks like shit, please. What do you think of Fallout 76?
Okay, so I like it solely because of the controversy. This is gonna sound so juicy. Like it sounds juicy because so many people are conflicted by it. But I love that about this game. I love the fact that it's done
so
that.
Controversial.
Yeah. When I heard multiplayer initially, I was like, okay, no, this is not good. I do not like the sound of this at all.
I actually like that. Not in general. I like what they mentioned about. I don't like just the word multiplayer, but I think what they seem to be trying to do is interesting for the Fallout series, because having people just be in the world doing things like in the background or interacting with you makes the world feel more alive. And so long as it's not the focus,
right,
that would be awesome. But I'm a little bit worried that they may have no NPCs, and I'm really hoping that it's not about Royale.
Yeah. So this is the thing. When I first heard multiplayer, I was like, oh, this is not going to work. There's no way. Solely because for me, when I play Fallout, I love the idea of being a lone wanderer. I love being the one guy who's on the road, fighting his way, just surviving, right?
And I see that. And I also I see that. And I also see the argument of the NPCs are a big deal of the role play.
Yeah.
But also, did you play Fallout 4?
Yeah, of course I did.
Have you ever had in Fallout 4 one of those moments where you're just going around the world and then you hear something in the distance and then you go to there and there's like mutants fighting? What's the name of the organization with the suits?
You're talking about how like when enemy ghouls are like just running at members of
the Brotherhood?
Brotherhood, yeah.
Yeah, well, like that, like you're going through the world and then suddenly something is happening in the distance without you.
Yeah.
I feel like the multiplayer experience can aid with that depending on how they do it. If they do it in a kind of Dark Souls kind of way where you don't interact with them directly, or you can, but it's hard to communicate.
Yeah. I think it'd be excellent because like when I mentioned play multiplayer wouldn't work, I was talking to a friend of mine and we came up with this idea that we thought was really cool. I don't know if it's going to be that way. Again, we have no real idea. But can you imagine if, let's say, you're in this huge world, maybe there's about 30 players who join that server or whatever, right? And then, like, you're just, let's say, going through, like, a shopping mart, grabbing what you can, you know, what's left over, and then you hear someone walk in, you're like, okay, hide. What am I going to do in this situation? Am I going to try to threaten this person? Should I try getting this guy on my side? Should we scavenge together, you know? I love the idea of, like, it being super intense and unpredictable, but I am worried, as you said, that it might just be another battle royale, which I really don't want. I like the idea of, like...
Yeah, I have the same issue.
I like the idea of people role-playing to their characters and, like, making decisions based on, like, how they want to present themselves. I think it's a great way to work it into the Fallout world, but I'm not certain that they'll do that.
Yeah, I totally feel you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a little bit worried about that. I remain positive, and something that I will say is that, contrary to what a lot of people feel like, I don't think this will affect the direction of the franchise.
Oh, for sure.
Because they... Like, I don't feel like this is a replacement for Fallout 5.
Yeah,
and Fallout 4 came out, like, very, very recently in terms of Bethesda games. Like, usually Bethesda games come, like, every several years.
And so they take a while.
Yeah, like I think we're gonna see eventually a Fallout 5 that is more traditional.
Yeah. I feel like in my I don't want to make justification. I don't want to what's it called? Deem that this is how it's going to be, but like I can totally see Fallout 76, let's say, not working, and then being like, oh well, it's not real Fallout games. It doesn't matter too much. Like Fallout 5's coming out, so that's something, right? Pretend Fallout 76 didn't exist. I feel like they could brush it off if it's not successful. They just have that sort of reputation now.
Yeah, they can, but like I also don't want to feel like they have to always make a mainline. I like the idea of them making a spin-off every now and then.
Yeah, for sure.
And I also like that they announced the new Elder Scrolls because if you don't know, they basically pulled the Metroid Prime 4. The Metroid Prime 4, and they said, oh yeah, by the way, we're working on Elder Scrolls 6. And that's all they said. They just showed a title screen.
And my god, did it get so much like...
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I understand when people call that bullshit, because you're just announcing that you're doing it. But at the same time, for a long while, I've been like, I want a new Elder Scrolls that's not ESO. I don't really want to play Elder Scrolls Online. Can we have a new Elder Scrolls? And this is like not enough to excite me, but enough to let me know, okay, good, I am being catered to...
Yeah, they haven't forgotten you guys.
Yeah, and I don't feel that way either. Like, I like Fallout.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I like knowing.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of this, and we have announced a couple of things too, and I'm also going to read the ones from the Devolver Digital, if you don't mind, because it's so few that we may bug them together. So, they showed gameplay for Rage 2. They announced that Elder Scrolls Legends is coming to consoles. If you don't know Elder Scrolls Legends, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like the card game.
I believe that's right.
And I think it's on mobile. I've heard that it's good. I'm just not super interested in more mobile games. Like, I will already play MTG and Hearthstone.
Yeah, well, and its trailer didn't really do a convincing job for me. It seemed like it was trying so hard to bring in a fan base similar to Hearthstone.
Yeah.
And I just don't, to me, it didn't pay off.
Everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie with Hearthstone right now.
Yeah.
It's like the Battle Royale of cell phones, despite the fact that Battle Royale is on cell phones.
That is a very good point to make. I want a Tetra Master card game. Come on, guys. Give me Tetra Master.
They announced Wolfenstein Youngblood. I think they announced it's coming to Switch, which I like because Wolfenstein is already building a fan base on Switch.
Yeah.
Which is a really good thing. They announced DLC for Prey Mooncrush. I think, well, you know, the Mooncrush DLC for Prey.
Yeah.
They announced Fallout 76, which we already mentioned. They announced that they are working on the Elder Scrolls 5, which we already mentioned. They're announcing that Fallout Shelter is coming to Switch and PS4, which is like a mobile game about managing a shelter.
Yeah.
And I've heard that it's very, very, very well received.
I've played it. I personally enjoy it.
I've also heard that it's the one game that does pay to win right. For like, I know that sounds like heresy and impossible, but apparently people like the pay to win in that game.
Well, I haven't spent a single cent on it yet. But hey, that's interesting. That's really interesting to hear. I'm surprised people are okay with transactions.
Yeah, no idea. I think the reason is because you're not competing with anyone. It's just a single player game.
That's true. Yeah.
Then, well, that one's coming to PS4 and Switch now. They announced Skyrim Very Special Edition. I didn't quite get what that's supposed to mean, other than we're selling you Skyrim for the 7th time.
Yeah.
I don't really mind that they do that. Some people get really angry. Oh, they're selling you you just don't buy it.
Yeah.
If you've never played Skyrim, this is a good thing for you.
That's it. You know, like if someone's long waited to try it out, you know, why not get a very special edition?
Yep. Devolver Digital announced Metal Wolf Chaos XD, Scum, and My Friend Pedro. And the last thing that I wanna hinge upon, like, obviously feel free to comment on any of this.
Yeah, for sure.
But Bethesda also announced Starfield, which...
I was wondering why you skipped that. I was like, Martin, are we going to come back?
Yes, we are. If you're listening and you don't know, what Starfield is essentially Fallout / The Elder Scrolls, like that type of game, on a new setting. It's a new IP entirely. So now they're gonna have Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and Starfield. And Starfield is gonna be, as you probably guessed it, space sci-fi setting. So think something in the lines of Mass Effect, but in the styles of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls.
Isn't that such a nice set of diversity? Like you have your space, you have fantasy, and then you have like an alternate reality. You know, you have a bit of everything almost.
Yeah,
it's
nice. Perfect because if you wanted to add something to that, this is what makes sense. At work, maybe something like medieval. Well, not medieval because you have the Elder Scrolls, but something like historic, or maybe something with cowboys. But even now, as I'm saying that, it's difficult to come with ideas that are not this perfect trilogy.
Sorry, you said medieval, and I thought medieval, and I was thinking, where is my medieval teaser trailer? But I guess that's fine. Anyway.
Feels bad, man. Anyways, I'm really excited about this. Like, I don't think it's gonna come out for 3 or 4 years because Bethesda.
Naturally.
But I'm probably gonna either buy it at launch or more likely buy like a year after because that's what I always do. Although a lot of that is because I have no money, and by that time I'm gonna be done with uni anyways.
And not to mention, you probably have other games on this list you'd rather play first anyway, and you'd probably purchase those anyway.
I don't know. Like, I feel like by the time this game comes out, any other game that I would be excited about is not even conceived of yet.
Really?
Because I think this game is gonna take so long that I'm gonna have already either played or moved on from every other game on this list.
Ah, okay. That's fair.
If that makes sense. Yeah, obviously, there are some exceptions, like Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
I was personally really excited for Rage 2. So I haven't played the first Rage. I know nothing of the franchise.
Oh, me neither.
But its visuals looked insane in the trailer. Like the explosions, the aliens, everything about it it spoke to me. It was like Borderlands on steroids minus the comedy and like 10 times the action. That's really good to me. I love that sort of thing.
Okay, so to clarify what you're talking about is aesthetics.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I just don't want anyone going in the comments, and of course now there will be going, oh, Mike only likes good graphics.
Well, no, well, I mean, hey, you could argue that the next game I'm going to talk about doesn't have the greatest graphics, but it looks like fun. My friend Pedro, holy crap, the sort of things you can pull off in that game look astounding.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's related to it or it's by the same studio. Like, I don't know if it's like a quote-unquote spiritual sequel by the same studio or what, but I think it's related to, or at least in the same vein as A Story About My Uncle.
I had my suspicions, yeah.
I think it's the same studio. I'm pretty sure. It's
kind of reminiscent. But like I'm simply excited because like I feel as if this is a game that feels like it doesn't have limitations, and I've been waiting for a game like that. I've been waiting for a game that's like.
Oh, you're actually doing a better work than the presentation to sell me on it.
It's more like it feels so crazy and out there. You kind of think to yourself like, would this be possible? Could I do this? And then it actually works. It was like what Breath of the Wild kind of did, where you kind of like interact with certain things and then.
Very systems based and very playground kind of fashion.
Yeah. Like I mean, I recall when my friend.
In the same way that Story About My Uncle is about traversal.
Yeah. I recall that like a time when my friend came over, he was playing Breath of the Wild, and they had these weird sentry-like turrets that like when they see you, they.
How have you not played Breath of the Wild on my console yet?
I haven't played it on your console. Have I? I've only played it with my friends. I'm sorry. That friend, not with my friends, because you're my friend, Martin. I love and respect you.
I actually didn't think any of it. I'm glad to know that. Not that you want me to be offended.
No, Martin, come on.
Anyways, but you were saying.
Yeah, so like I remember there were these weird sentry-like turrets that if they saw you, they begin firing.
Yeah.
And just out of the blue, my friend picks up a log from outside with some kind of like traverse-looking gun, holds it up in front of their vision so they can't see anything. Like I feel like my friend Pedro is going to pull up something similar where there feels like there was no limitations.
Did I ever tell you the story of how of when I first realized that Breath of the Wild was an amazing game?
No, do tell.
So I wasn't super excited about it because I felt like a lot of the hype was I didn't see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure, it looked like a great game, but to me, everyone sounded like they were exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
And even after I started playing it, I still felt that way. But then at one point, I was running through Hyrule Fields, and I saw a poll.
Okay.
Just like a flagpole, a
Yeah.
large flagpole. And knowing the game, I went like, oh, I'm sure that if I get up there, there's gonna be some kind of reward, something for me. I want to climb that.
Yeah.
I went and started climbing. As I am climbing the flagpole, it starts to rain. And for the record, at this point, we still didn't know. Like, I didn't know anything. Like all the complaints about the rain were not common yet.
All right. I think I know where this is going.
And then I realized, oh shit, I'm sleeping. Like I'm actually sleeping off the pole when the rain, like because of the rain. I'm like, wow. I was like, sure, whatever. I'll just get off the pole then. I go walking and go through the grass, and then suddenly I see some sparks, and then a lightning hits me, and the lightning turned the grass on fire, and I could use the heat from the fire to race if I use my paraglider. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I keep running, and I see the sparks again. I go like, oh shit, I'm getting hit by lightning because I have metal weapons on a rainstorm.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the small things.
It's all those like interactions, and that's when I realized, wow, this game is amazing because of all the systematic interactions on it. Like there's puzzles in the game that deal with magnetism.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories and even done myself the not doing the puzzle at all and instead just dropping a bunch of metal weapons on the ground to finish the circuit.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
It's amazing.
Like, the amount of freedom you get in that sounds sick.
Anyway.
Initially I thought when you found the pole and it started raining, you were going to get struck by lightning immediately because the whole like metal conducting electricity thing. But no, I think it's cool that you were just slipping off. That's such a small detail. That's a nice detail.
For the record, now it's very well known, and people hate that because it often means that the game is in big chunks about climbing, and suddenly you can't go anywhere because of the rain.
Right.
Like you just have to wait it.
Yeah.
And I do agree there's a design flaw there, but the point is that it's all about systems.
That's it.
Anyways. Going back to the presentations, Square Enix. I'm sure this is the one you're most excited about. Actually, no, you said Microsoft.
Yeah, solely because of Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I felt like the Microsoft conference just did a bit more for me. Because Square Enix has been putting out trailers nonstop, you know, I haven't really gotten much out of it. So like,
they've been trickling them out, basically.
Yeah, I didn't feel much for it. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider does look nice.
Yep. So we got Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider. We got Dragon Quest XI. We got The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which, if you don't know, is a game in the... Well, they said that it's a game in the universe of Life is Strange, but completely unrelated. I don't know why quote unquote in the universe. That feels so weird. It feels to me like they're trying to cash into the title's like fame.
Or maybe I feel like it's going to try to play on the idea that maybe the same character has the main character has like a similar feat or trait like maxing.
I'm sure the main character has like an imaginary friend that is like a pirate or something like that. So I'm sure they're gonna do something mystic like supernatural with that, and then he just with the feels and stuff.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we have I moved up. Sorry.
That's it.
Then we have Kingdom Hearts 3. We already talked about that. Feel free to gush a little more if you want.
Yeah, we'll do.
Just Cause 4, Babylon's Fall, the new trailer for Octopath Traveler. I haven't seen that one yet. I'm still super excited about Octopath Traveler nonetheless.
Yep.
And they announced a crossover between Final Fantasy XIV and Monster Hunter World, which, if you like those two games, you probably should go play the MMO a little bit now because you're going to get a bunch of Monster Hunter World stuff on it. Personally, the thing I'm most excited about here is Octopath Traveler, but it's only because it's the only game that I'm really on top of.
Okay.
Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit also sound interesting.
Yeah, no, I had no idea about it, so like I'm glad you mentioned it. I think that's a very interesting premise. It kind of reminiscent of Beyond Two Souls, I think it was called, with that one character who's connected to some kind of spiritual entity.
Easy there, cowboy. You be careful with the comparisons you draw here.
Really?
I don't know if you know, but Beyond Two Souls is a David Cage game, and David Cage is, I think it's a David Cage game. Otherwise, it's like in the vein of that. David Cage is very famous for making essentially, quote unquote, as he puts it, interactive movies. And
interesting.
On a person, I'm on the group of people that think he's very bad at it.
Really? Okay.
Because, like, for example, I've been watching a lot of... I refuse to buy them. I have Beyond Two Souls. I refuse to buy Detroit Become Human, the newest one he's released. But I watch a lot of it, like, incidentally, basically, watching streamers that I like and stuff like that. I do think, like, I want to give him credit where credit is due. I think there's a bunch of things there in the writing that have the potential to be very good or implicit if they're intentional or if the story doesn't go to shit.
Right.
But at the same time, and you can tell because he's the lead designer and director. Like, you can tell it's his fault because you can tell these are all flaws.
Those are his choices.
Direction.
Yeah.
It's super pretentious and stupid.
Wow.
Yeah, like, it's a story about... And feel free to disagree with me if you're listening. But it's just, like, Detroit Become Human is a story about androids in Detroit in the future that are slowly breaking out of their servitude and their programming to become quote-unquote human. But for example, at the very beginning, there's this lady going, watch carefully because this is not just a story. This is our future. And I think, okay, first of all, you have to be incredibly stupid to not realize that AI doesn't work that way. Even positronic brains invented by Asimov in fiction don't work that way. Like, it's basically a universe of data from Star Trek Next Generation, if you've ever seen it. And the reason why it works with data and doesn't work here is because Star Trek is a little bit goofy and doesn't try to tell you, hey, this is the future.
Yeah.
Like, it justifies itself with science, but it lets you suspend your disbelief by not being super pretentious about it.
Yeah, well, this almost feels like a political statement. Not really a political statement, more like a, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah,
we need to do something about it.
It feels like he thinks he's saying something super poetic and smart and...
it's not paying off.
Yeah, when it's actually something that has been said so many fucking times and it's always been wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we've moved past that.
No, that's interesting. You mentioned that.
And a lot of stuff that happens on the game is like that. Not just this scene. I'm not just hanging up on that. I will, again, give it credit because a lot of the writing is interesting. There are some things that are interesting, but the core concept of these are machines breaking from their programming to become human. No, that's stupid. Not the concept. The way you're doing it is stupid.
Yeah, by all means. I'm thankful for that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so aggressive.
No, that's fine. I was gonna reiterate that when I was talking about this game's relation to Beyond Two Souls, I meant the whole connection between the paranormal and the reality. I just thought Beyond Two Souls' gameplay horrendous. Don't get me started. How much I hate the gameplay.
Okay, yeah,
horrendous.
I wanna say that all that I said is under the assumption that we all agree that the gameplay is pretty meh because it's just press X, you press X.
And well, even then, I found Beyond Two Souls to be stupid in regards to its QuickTime events. It tried so hard to make you follow on, get into a situation that feels intense, but the control scheme's all over the shop. It'll have you using the left analog stick to move left and then pressing the triangle button, and it's oh, okay, by all means. But
somebody described David Cage's games very well by saying it's a 10-hour long movie or a video game about watching someone brushing their teeth.
Okay, you know what?
And that's a big problem with them, but that it's a problem that I can look past. I think that's more a problem of the industry than the games. Yeah. Because if you want to make an interactive movie, I think that's okay. And I think what he's trying to do is not the best, but has a place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But a video game, we as an industry do not allow $60 games to be 2 hours long.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's a reason why movies are not 10 hours long, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's just jumping back real quick onto the point I was making earlier with the whole control schematic.
I cut you off.
In regards to the whole control schematic, again, I think the gameplay's god awful. But I'm a big fan of storytelling. I think it's a really good story, and it's done it really, really well. Which is why I was excited for this, because I know in previous iterations of games similar, like Life is Strange, they really know how to tell a story. The writing is excellent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Gameplay, not so much. It's not really the gameplay to me isn't always a big thing with games like that. Games that almost feel like a movie, as you mentioned. But there's always room for improvement. There's always a point where it's like, this is irritating. I don't want to do this.
And I will agree that Beyond is a little bit better than Detroit on this. Like, it's not as blatant. But especially with especially with Detroit Become Human, I feel like I get what he's trying to do. I don't fully disagree with someone doing this, but there's so much squandered talent here because the director is a moron.
I think
that's the feeling I get. I'm not trying to attack anyone, and also if you like the game, that's cool.
Yeah, everyone's free to their own opinion, you know. I think for me personally, I probably should try the game or watch videos of it just to have my own just opinion of it. I've heard really good things about it. You're the first person to tell me that like it's kind of hinted in a direction doesn't feel good, which is interesting. I'm glad you're honest enough to tell me about.
I don't think the flaws with the game are something you can't look past. Like for example, the storytelling problems that I see on it, I feel are very are something that you only see if you look very carefully. If that are the kind of things that a critic will say more than the kind of things that will ruin the experience.
Like a normal player,
you can still enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
But you should be worried. First of all, the reason I use the woman at the beginning as an example is because I think it's the worst example of that. I think that's the one that may ruin your experience. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, right.
But I think it's not something that's super hard to look past. But you will have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours of press left to brush your teeth.
Yeah, which
stuff
is
like
just,
that. And again, I can understand that if you can look past that, you can enjoy it. And I do not even blame them for this. I think that's a flaw of the industry. Like, if the game would be better without that, even if it makes it quote unquote too short for an expensive game, then it should be shorter.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the important is how good the experience is. I know that's subjective, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft it's always interesting actually. It's never super mind blowing, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
So we have Just Dance 2019 release date. So
be released in 2020.
Yeah. They also kicked the whole event with that. Which, you know, I think it gave them a little bit of a good start, if that makes sense.
Debatable.
They announced the release date for Trials Rising. They announced raids and endgame content for The Division 2. They revealed some more stuff about Skull and Bones. We've already heard a little bit about it, but like this is like the quote unquote official stuff. They announced the release date of Transference. They quote unquote revealed Starlink Battle for Atlas. Like we've already.
There was already talk of it, yeah. From
I'm really excited about Starlink. We'll see. The problem is that I probably won't have the money to buy the toys, and I feel like that game is a game you play with toys. Then they announced that there's gonna be a crossover with Star Fox in Starlink Atlas if you play it on Switch, which. To me, it's a good thing because I'm probably going to play it on Switch. I'm not super big fan of Star Fox. I like it. If you're a big fan of Star Fox, good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, not good for you because they didn't announce anything for Star Fox other than this. Sorry. They also announced the release date for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is basically the newest Assassin's Creed in the vein of Origins. Apparently, they're keeping that style. They're also making it, I think, not more combat focused, but trying to fix the combat, make it even better.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's what I gathered from that. They also announced the beta for The Crew 2.
Yeah.
Of all this, what excites you the most?
I'm gonna be honest. For me, Ubisoft didn't do too much for me. It was interesting, but it wasn't like enough to make me want to buy anything on the list. But I will say one thing. I have never been an Assassin's Creed fan. Like I cannot get into the games. I tried.
I have a similar issue. I played like the first 3 or 4.
Yeah. And
then I fell off because I got so tired of a game that I felt like I was just playing GTA.
Yeah. I played Assassin's Creed 2. I got about halfway through it, and then I put it down one day, and I haven't had a reason to revisit it. I played Assassin's Creed 4, which was the pirate one. That was an interesting premise. I thought it was okay, but not enough to get me like to stay, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people praise the games for what they are. I guess the story is where it's at, but the combat for me is just kind of, I don't know, it feels very, not basic, but generic. And
yeah,
I
felt
felt
really bad.
And I was interested when you said that they're trying to, like, it looks like they're trying to improve gameplay.
Have you seen the combat on Origins?
A little bit of it, yeah.
So basically what they did with Origins is they went, oh, Dark Souls is popular. Let's copy the Dark Souls combat so that we can have better combat. And it was an improvement. But and this is part of the reason that I hate when games compare themselves to Dark Souls, is that, no, you do not get it. It's not that Dark Souls is not good because it's difficult. It's not good because of the combat. It has a lot of interesting mechanics in its combat.
Yeah.
But just putting those mechanics in your game does not make it Dark Souls.
That's a good point.
Or Dark Souls quality.
Yeah.
The whole reason why Dark Souls is so good is because everything FromSoft does in the Souls franchise has several more degrees than other games in the lines of intentionality.
Okay.
Everything they do carefully. Instead of putting an item somewhere because they think you may need it, they put an item in a place that by picking it, you will move your character to a position where you will discover something naturally.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that's very true.
They don't take your hand, they don't hand fist anything, they don't put symbols on the map of where to go, there's not even a map. They do everything intentional. So taking combat elements like stamina and dodging and like hitboxes and putting them in your game without asking yourself why those things work.
And why should they be in here?
Sure, it may improve a combat system as bad as the one that Assassin's Creed used to have, but it's still not gonna be that good.
Yeah. It's the same with storytelling, you know? Everything, every word and whatnot needs motivation. There needs to be a reasoning behind why you pick certain words. You can't just, as you said, take like a part of a game, throw it in yours to expect it to enhance the way the game's played or enhance the way the game's experienced, you know?
I think the problem is that, and I get it because making games takes a lot of time and it's really difficult and there's a lot of things that we don't even know. Well, we know, but we don't even consider that they need to consider when they're making it. But just thinking, how do we fix this problem? Let's do this that this other game did. Doesn't work. You have to test it and then you have to ask yourself, is the game better because of this and how does this affect other parts of the game? And constantly go back and rebuild. And that's usually the most difficult one because at the point you get to testing and then need to go back and change it, you probably don't have enough time and the game has to ship at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
But and again, like you, I am glad that they are trying to improve the combat because I do think the Origins thing was a step in the right direction, even if it was clumsy and had a lot of problems that...
It clearly showcases that, you know, they are trying to do better.
Exactly. The one game that I forgot to mention because I was leaving it for last because it's the one I'm most excited about is they also showed gameplay about Beyond Good and Evil 2. Now, I haven't played the first one. I've been putting it off since forever.
Right.
But Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks amazing. Every trailer they show looks so good that I feel worried that I'm gonna need to buy a new console for it. But I've also heard so much stuff about the first one. It's like this kind of adventure game.
Right.
About in like this sci-fi / space kind of setting.
Okay.
And has a lot of elements about bringing down corrupt corporations and stuff like that. And the new one looks so good. It looks so good. And we had only seen like a reveal trailer with essentially a cinematic trailer that was really, really good. And now we've seen a little bit of gameplay. I'm really interested.
Yeah, it's interesting. I too haven't touched Beyond Good and Evil 1 at all. I didn't hear any controversy. I heard that a lot of people thought it was okay at best. Didn't hear anything that was like inherently bad about it. Just that I heard that the way in which the story is presented isn't as effective as it could have been.
There are some complaints. Like, for example, the first trailer they showed, not this one, the one they showed last year. And this is a complaint I agree with. The writing feels like they are trying to hand fist the ruthlessness of the characters or the world the characters live in simply by having them curse a lot.
Yeah.
And that's like not good writing. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't sell. It just feels artificial.
Yeah, it's kind of like when cartoons try to...
It's not super big of a deal. It's very subtle.
Yeah.
Well, very subtle, they're personal. But it does make it a little bit off.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's similar to the example I was going to mention. It can be distracting in cartoons that are intended for mature audiences, and you just hear swearing like here, there, and whatnot. You know, like it doesn't feel right. It feels like the writing and the way in which characters speak are two different things, and it should not feel like that. They should really feel like one. Writing's supposed to support the way in which a character is driven, how they talk and whatnot. I just feel like in those instances, those two feel separate, and that breaks story. That breaks a character's relation to the story. I feel like as Beyond Two Souls does just that, from what I've heard.
We're running a little bit long on time, but before we move to Sony and Nintendo, I want to ask you: is there any Ubisoft game that you're interested in?
Not particularly. It makes it kind of sad to say it, but yeah, sadly, I did think the visuals in Assassin's Creed was cool. And hey, I mean, it's in Greece, so
that's actually very
props to the mainland.
Yeah, that actually I'm very interested on, because I feel like Greece is such a cool place for an Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Egypt was too. It's just that Egypt. I mean, after that, the game actually didn't feel that bad in that respect. But I really prefer Assassin's Creed in places where there's tall buildings. If that makes sense.
And especially unique looking ones too, you know, and I think Greece is full of them. You have square buildings with round roofs, you know, like it's really white and blue. It's gorgeous.
Greece is so iconic too.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Let's go quickly through PC stuff. So there was this PC gaming show, and what they show was a trailer for The Forgotten City. They showed Yakuza. They show a game called Man Eater. They showed Killing Floor 2, which I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of fans of. They showed a new trailer for Star Citizen, which, to be honest, I am interested, but I remain cautious. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
They also show a game called Sable, which apparently is inspired by Studio Ghibli. I haven't seen the trailer for this one, but like the name already calls onto me, so we'll see how it ends up. And they also showed a game called 2 Point Hospital, which apparently is supposed to be like a comedy kind of game. We'll see. Anything here that has you interested? I didn't watch all of this, but I want to recognize them because usually I don't speak much about PC because I just play. Because I am mainly a PC gamer, right? If I wasn't stuck on a laptop, but the thing is, the games that I play on PC are usually either the same two games for thousands of hours, or games that are usually announced in console conferences.
Right.
Like I would play, I don't know, the new Tomb Raider.
Yeah, for sure.
Warcraft, something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. For me personally, I am pretty excited for the Yakuza to PC. I'm a big fan of those games, I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
My big brother introduced them to me, and I just thought they had an interesting concept. But in terms of interest, I'm gonna shed the disappointment that I've been holding up for me. I wanted to clarify it and make sure, but yeah, it's as it is. So I mentioned at the start of the episode that my disappointment didn't just come from like the whole, this game didn't even appear at all. Reading that, talking about disappointment in actual E3, I am still very angry at Overkill's The Walking Dead because we've been given so many cinematics, but there's no gameplay. We've been given tons of video footage of like the intensity of situations and whatnot, but we have no idea how this game's going to be played.
Yeah, and that's a problem that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because it's on a development stage that they can't really show much, or maybe because it's kind of like a David Cage game, where it's basically an interactive movie, which I would see on a
most of the Walking Dead games are, but
yeah, but I would prefer, if it was the case, I would prefer something on the lines of a Telltale.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I feel those are better.
Like Overkill's interpretation of the game, I would believe would be different to the classical cartoonified storytelling that is Telltale games. You know, it feels weird because Overkill's version of The Walking Dead has graphics similar to The Last of Us 2, which talk about that later.
Oh yeah.
It has graphics really reminiscent of that, so my assumption is it would play like that game, but I can't really just justify it with that example. But we've been given no information whatsoever, just countless of trailers that don't give us anything, which is so disappointing. Because like even Final Fantasy VII, which came out, bringing it to light again, which came out of nowhere with its remake, still showcased gameplay.
Came out of nowhere. People have been asking for it for decades.
Yeah, but I mean, like in its first promotional trailer, we got gameplay like instantly. That's mental. That's mental for a trailer.
That's true. Even though that gameplay is probably not gonna be part of it anymore, since they had to throw so much stuff away.
Yeah. And this.
Let's not go. Let's not go that.
Not down there again.
Yeah. So Sony. For Sony, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Ghost of Tsushima.
Sorry, I noticed you skipped one.
I already skipped one, yeah. Control, a new game by Remedy, which I haven't seen anything of. They announced a new game by the creators of Rick and Morty called Trover Seas. Trover Saves the Universe. Sorry, I don't know why I like that.
Say it again, because
Trover Saves the Universe. I don't know. I like the idea of it being a sci-fi kind of thing. I will see. Like, I'm not super fan of them because of their humor style. I'm fan of them for their writing. Hopefully, this one will have that level of writing, and hopefully, it won't feel like the bad part of their humor. Because I do think there's an element of it that I don't like. But we'll see. Like I like Rick and Morty. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Kingdom Hearts 3. They announced a remake for Resident Evil 2, which I love because now we have Resident Evil HD remake, and Resident Evil 2 remake, which means we don't have to go back and we can play those. And hopefully we will get one for Resident Evil 3 and Code Veronica and Zero, because those games are amazing too.
Why didn't you skip that one as well?
I didn't expect to be so excited about that, actually. And they also they showed stuff for the new Spider-Man game that everyone's been so excited about for so long now. I'm interested because I missed the hype train on the PS2 one when it came out.
Yeah, right.
And like the game is legendary.
Absolutely.
So if they get this one right, it will be awesome.
For certain.
And they also announced they didn't announce. They showed new gameplay, which we had seen reveal trailers, but not gameplay for Kojima's new game, Death Stranding.
That's true.
Which we could make several podcasts on just that video. My God, what the fuck is going through that man?
Yeah, it's...
What is he smoking? I don't want to play the game so bad.
So many babies.
I think it's the same baby every single time. And they also showed gameplay trailer gameplay and also cinematic trailer for The Last of Us 2, which, to be honest, I wasn't excited for because I love The Last of Us. The first one. To me, the first Last of Us was one of the best games on the platform.
Yeah, anyway.
But I mean, then I played Bloodborne, and but it's so story heavy, and the story is so important and so good that I was worried that the sequel would feel, because originally they didn't want to make a sequel.
Yeah.
So I was worried that the sequel would feel just like a tag on, like just a sequel for the sake of making a sequel,
right?
With like a continuation story that's not as good. But this trailer showcased like the type of game, like it showcased how good. My God, I wish I could animate that well. I know I'm rambling a lot, but
you're right though.
I wish I could animate.
It's gorgeous.
That well. It's amazing. And they also showcased that gameplay that I can't quite put my finger on, but that gameplay shouldn't work. It should feel generic and boring, at least to me. But it so does work. It's so good. I don't know what they do about, like how they do it, but it's so good.
Oh yeah.
And basically, I'm gonna say what I said to my friend about this one. If the gameplay and the visuals are any indicator of this game compared to the first one, then the story could be just as good.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no reason to believe the opposite because they still have all the same great writers.
Oh, yeah.
So, fingers crossed, I'm excited about it. And also Death Stranding.
Yep. I'll keep my talk on Last of Us 2 quick and simple. I'm personally glad there is the remake, solely because I felt like the first game ended so abruptly. I felt like there was no closure, which can be good.
The sequel, not the remake.
Yeah, the sequel, sorry. I felt like some games can pull off the whole, there's not really much closure, but, it's ambiguous and it's okay. The Last of Us, the first one, just felt so cut off. Like, it was just, all right, we'll probably just wrap it up here.
I actually like the ending.
I wasn't personally a big fan of it. I just felt like it went, yeah, we'll kind of just cut it here, I guess.
I get why some people would feel that way, because if you feel like The Last of Us is a story about the world, it can feel that way. It makes perfect sense that you would feel that way. But to me, The Last of Us has always been a story about a father and his surrogate daughter.
Yeah.
So to me, the ending was perfect. Like, a lot of people, for example, don't like that, spoilers, don't like that he saved her instead of saving the world and he lied to her.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that's perfect because it makes him feel more human.
No, I agree that the game should be more center focused on its characters. It's like The Walking Dead. It does that just because it doesn't focus so much on like all the small details of the world and whatnot. It uses the world as a background that plays alongside characters rather than it being controlling or dominant feature.
And there's something to be said about the game leaving space for a sequel. I just feel like if the game had ended there and there was no sequel, I would still be happy.
Yeah, that's cool.
But so long as this doesn't squander anything that the first game did, I feel like it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah. And
at the same time, maybe give closure to the people that feel they need it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the first game was remarkable, and there's no denying that. It's just, I personally think that I wanted to see more. I wanted there to be some kind of clarity and closure in this. It may not be like the world is saved or whatnot, but I feel like the characters didn't find a proper clarity in the ending of the original. It didn't feel right.
Any other thing that calls your attention?
Well, I'm excited for Resident Evil 2 Remake because Leon's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love Leon, and Resident Evil 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yep.
And I think it's cool because it's, as you actually mentioned earlier, or kind of mentioned, it will act as like a segue for new players into the franchise.
That's true too.
But also, if it's successful, we might get a Resident Evil 3 remake, which is my favorite Resident Evil game. So that'd be great.
It's a lot of people's favorite, really.
It's beautiful.
I think most people are divided between 3 and...
4 was really good too.
And 4.
Yeah, 4 was really good.
I'm excited about a lot of this stuff. Like, I don't think Sony had the best conference, but it certainly has the best list of games.
I can agree.
Scratch that. Nintendo has Pokemon and Smash.
Yeah, no, I still believe that E3 puts out more. Sony puts out more.
Sony puts out more top tier games.
Yeah,
to me personally. I am very, very interested in the Spider-Man one. I really want the Resident Evil to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna buy it regardless. It's not a big deal. It's just a remake of a regular game. And if we haven't spoken much about Death Stranding, it's because it's so hard to speak about
There's so little we know.
Yeah, and we could analyze the trailer for hours, but that would take too long. And it's better if you listeners go and watch it yourself.
Yeah,
just Google Death Stranding E3 2018.
You will be surprised.
I'm gonna guess that you're gonna be either hyped or disturbed or both.
Oh yeah.
That's like the only reactions I can. Don't get me wrong, I'm super excited. I feel like this is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, but it's a very abstract way to present the game.
It's open to a lot of interpretation, which I like. But, there's always the possibility of just Kojima being Kojima.
Yeah.
Finally, Nintendo. So, Nintendo announced, or rather, on Nintendo Conference we got announced.
Wait, 1 second, Martin.
Go ahead.
Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
When you're reading these ones out, read every single one out. Don't skip any of them. I have an idea of what we'll do after we read them all out, okay?
Okay. So, they announced. I wasn't going to skip anyone, by the way, because we probably have already spoken about every single one I'm excited about. Daemon Machina, or Daemon Ex Machina, which is sort of like a mecha combat kind of game. It looks like a mixture of a third-person shooter and a Budokai-style fighter.
Right.
We'll see. I'm interested. I really like this kind. I'm always interested in this kind of game because if they're good, I want a game like this, but I want it to be good, so we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
I have faith. They announced that Fortnite is coming to Switch. It's already on Switch, I think. I think it's as the time of the announcement, the game was out. I should point out that if you're playing on PS4, you're not allowed to migrate your account to Nintendo because Sony's being a dick.
Naturally.
They announced that, okay, so they showed gameplay and footage from the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And they also announced that if you buy the Pokeball, that the special control, it comes with Mew,
which is such a good way to cash grab.
I don't know, it feels like something they always do, and
but it feels more rewarding when you purchase it too. You feel less guilty.
I think that's the idea. I was gonna buy it anyways, but sure,
I'm the same.
They announced DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I think I've mentioned in the podcast that I don't think Xenoblade Chronicles is a good game. I don't want to say that I don't like it, because I want to like it and I'm trying to like it, but it's making it so hard for me. Most people don't think like me. If you think I'm an idiot, sure, whatever. If you don't like the game and want more, great. The DLC is actually a new story, and it feels like it's DLC done right, so get excited if you like Xenoblade Chronicles. I am trying to get excited too. We'll see what happens. They announced, and this is amazing, that the Super Smash Bros. For Switch game is going to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and every single character that's been on any Smash Bros. Game ever is going to be playable on this one.
Mental, isn't it?
And they also announced that we're getting Princess Daisy, which is like a clone character of Princess Peach. So she's like, her moveset is like Peach with slightly differences.
Right. And
they also announced finally Ridley. So if you've been claiming for Ridley to come to Smash, you got it.
Okay.
They also announced that they're probably not gonna make many new fighters because they're bringing so many old fighters.
Oh, they'd have to. I feel like it'd be wrong not to introduce new things.
I mean, we got Ridley. I would expect them to make some new DLC fighters because they always do. But I get what they mean. Like, it's a lot of fighters, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of licensing. But please,
come on, get Crash Bandicoot in there, please.
Oh yeah. Like, we got Mega Man, Sonic, Pac-Man, and Snake.
Yeah, Crash clearly makes the agenda.
I want Spyro on it. I wouldn't mind Spyro.
Well, I mean, hey, it'd be a good time now, seeing as Reignited Trilogy's coming out, so...
By the way, when I say every single character, I mean variations too. So, for example, we got 3 Links. They also announced that a new Super Mario Party, which you won't believe this, I never played Super Mario Party.
No way!
When I in the era of the N64, instead of Super Mario Party, we used to play the party version of Stadium.
Oh, fair enough.
But I've never played it.
Dang, you're missing out.
From what I gather, this new Mario Party fixes all the issues that, apparently seems to be fixing all the issues that people had with recent Mario Parties. So hopefully it will be a return to success. And I would like that because I want it. Especially now that I have friends to play it with.
It's remarkable with a group of people.
Yeah. Hopefully it will break a lot of friendships. They also announced that you're gonna be able to use GameCube controllers with Smash. Nothing new there. A lot of people may be a lot more, like, may be able to breathe now.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's it. Yeah. They also announced that Smash is coming December 8th, which is really close to Pokemon Let's Go.
Oh, that's true, actually.
And I don't know if you watched, Mike, but and this is in the deleted episode, so listeners won't hear about this.
Yeah.
But remember, we had a discussion about the capture mechanics on Let's Go?
Yes.
Okay, so I was going through the footage, and apparently what they did is you can see the Pokemon on the wild. I don't know if you can, like, run into Pokemon by going into the grass. I think not. I think
I think it's exclusively the ones you run.
And when you run into a Pokemon that you see on the wild, similar to when you click on one on Pokemon Go, you enter the Pokemon Go capture method, and that's the only way to capture them. There's no combat.
Oh, really?
But if you capture them, it gives experience to your entire team. So that's how they are keeping the grind alive. I do have concerns, like we spoke about how this will affect, because I think that the battles against wild Pokemon were fun to have.
Oh, for sure.
But I am hopeful that this will improve the game pace and not make so many people quit without knowing why they are quitting. And like I said to you in the deleted episode, I believe the reason they quit is because the game is so much combat that the pacing is off.
Yeah, but and now I worry that when they play it like this, they'll go, oh man, Pokemon capturing's boring.
I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna, especially hardcore fans, that are gonna go, this is bullshit, because there's always someone who goes like that.
Yeah.
But
again,
we still got trainer battles. So.
Yeah. And again, like for the sake of breaking up the two, it's a good change. I think I don't fully agree with it, but I totally understand why. I think it's good to separate capturing Pokemon and battling, so battling doesn't feel like it's just one huge thing.
And if you're listening to this and you're worried, I will confirm to you that trainer battling has not changed.
Mm-hmm.
Gyms have not changed. They have mentioned that some gyms are different, but I think what they mean by that is they're more puzzle heavy.
Yeah, rather than what's it called? Like the actual system of the gyms, taking on gym leaders, getting badges. That's all the same. Like
for example, they show the Brock gym.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like exactly the same.
Yeah, see, that's cool.
And everything else seems to be pretty similar, like pretty well. And you get your partner Pokemon, Pikachu or Eevee, on your shoulder.
Which is such a nice thing.
And one Pokemon following you. At choice.
Ah, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So they are going to be literally making 3D sprites per Pokemon. That's mental.
So if you've been wanting for your Pokemon to follow you since Heart Gold and Soul Silver...
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's nice. I think to end the episode, what we should do is... We have the list here of what Nintendo's put out. On the count of 3, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same thing, we say what our favorite part of the Nintendo E3 announcement was, okay? Whether it be...
Wait, our favorite part or our favorite, game?
A favorite game that's on here, or announcement, okay? Yeah. I think it'll be the same.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2...
Hold on.
What?
This is going to be so awkward if we say a different game. Go ahead.
I'm sure. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Pokemon.
Fortnite on Switch.
What? I knew you were gonna go there.
I'm so keen for Pokemon.
I knew you were gonna say something like that.
Dude, Fortnite. Dude, I love Battle Royales, dude.
Fortnite's free to play, right?
Yeah. I think
I'm
so.
definitely gonna try it out. I'm gonna check if I have it right now for download. Because I will admit that I've been curious about the Battle Royales, especially when it was starting. PUBG looked really good for me. But it didn't look good enough that it made me hyped or want to jump in.
Yeah.
But I do want to check it out.
Look, I'm the sort of person that doesn't like to judge a book by its cover. I've played both PUBG and I've played Fortnite. I prefer Fortnite. I've only played 3 games worth and I've played like 20 hours of PUBG and I don't really like PUBG.
Although I will say this, if I had a choice, I wish there was a free-to-play Battle Royale mode on Splatoon, just because...
Oh, that sounds good.
Hold on. I don't think it would be super good. Well, maybe. But just because I want to play... For a long, long time now, I've been wanting to play Splatoon, and I've only played it on the open server tests.
Right.
And I've always felt that I'm not able to see whether or not I like the game because there are so many good people there and I don't get accustomed to it and I'm giving time and stuff. But I also don't want to spend the money on a game that I may not play because of the same reason that I don't play Overwatch, which is I love the game.
It's a better experience with people.
Yeah, it's the type of game that I cannot engage with constantly unless I'm very much into the community or have a friend that is constantly talking to me about it.
Yeah, by all means. No, I think I can agree with that. I think a Battle Royale Splatoon would work, but yeah, it'd be heavily...
Don't get me wrong, I think this is the better decision. I just would like to be able to try Splatoon without the money.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Anyways.
I believe that will conclude our podcast for today.
Yep.
Overall, E3 this year wasn't too bad.
I think it was good, to me personally.
Look, I agree. I think it had its ups. I don't think there were many downs. There were some disappointments, but they were more subjective. But it feels like there was something for everyone, which was nice.
I think it's important to not judge the conferences, but what they weren't. but rather judge them by what they were.
Yeah.
Do not judge them by the things you wanted to see on them, but rather by the things you saw.
Absolutely. You know, like justify an experience based on the experience. You know, don't try to be like, oh man, it could have been this, that, and the other. Be happy with what it is for now. Make your judgment on what it is as it is, and then, like, as time rolls out, maybe the things you want to see will come around.
Absolutely.
But as of right now, yeah, let's focus on the present, what we've got. Anywho, this has been episode 4 of FrameFest. Thank you for joining me. Would you like to tell them where they can find you?
Oh, yeah. So you can find me on @SayStuff on on Twitter. And on Twitch, twitch.tv/SayStuff. Hopefully more so now. Right now I'm playing through Hollow Knight, which, by the way, has just come out on Switch. One of the things that they announced is that. Very cheap, great game. Remember when I said about some games not being able to capture the Dark Souls element because they just take the elements and put them on it instead of evaluating?
Yeah, you mentioned.
This is a game that clearly goes, does this benefit the game? How? What do we have to change?
Yeah,
and the
sure.
result is amazing to the game. Why don't you tell us where people can find you?
Well, unless this is not on the Mickle Pickle YouTube channel, you can find me at YouTube/The Mickle Pickle.
That is
The Mickle Pickle. I am also on Twitch and Twitter under simply @MicklePickle. I will be using my Twitch a lot more frequently, solely because I want to improve the quality of live streams on my YouTube channel. But if you're nearby, feel free to drop in. It'd be a lot of fun. And when you can, catch Say Stuff, because I might be in the chat somewhere. Yeah.
Yay.
I was there last time, so.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, and you were in my one last time, I think about it.
Sometimes I go to yours and say nothing and just lurk.
Oh.
Because that way I can just do stuff while I watch. I just like cook or play Magic or prepare my decks or stuff like that.
I see. I'm secondary on your list. Okay. I'm not your priority. Come on, man.
At least I say hi.
You know what? That's true. You know what? I have to appreciate your existence there.
I can mean of you. Take that into account. Anyways.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in this podcast.
Take care.
It's been a lot of fun.
And see you next time.